It's what non-car people don't get. They see all cars as just 1.5 tons, 2 tons of wires, glass, metal and rubber. That's all they see. People like you or I know we have an unshakable belief that cars are living entities. You can develop a relationship with a car, and that's what non-car people just don't get. When something has foibles and won't handle properly, that gives it a particularly human quality because it makes mistakes, and that's how you can build a relationship with a car that other people won't get. Belting through the English countryside, drop it down into third floor, you're braking into the corners, feeling that sensation of the whole car moving around underneath you. That's what non-car people just don't get.
Bloody potholes! Welcome back to Quick Shift TV, where we try to remove some of the clickbaity hyperbolism and nonsense that sometimes permeates its way into the automotive world. Today I'm going to run through 5 things that I love about my XKR-S, which I've now owned for 7 months, so I should be able to give a fairly good insight into the awesome side of this car. Now, these are going to be in no particular order, and I'm going to kick the list off with the interior. The inside of the XKR-S is a really nice place to spend time, which makes sense given its luxury Grand Tourer roots. One of the many things that Jaguar got right with the XKR-S is retaining that luxury and comfort despite the exterior styling and the performance all being ramped up to 10. So the real standout piece is the seats, which are unique to the RS, which have got blue piping and stitching. They've got the RS badge kind of embroidered or printed into the headrest. And then also we've got this kind of very unique carbon fibre effect leather. So it's not claiming to be carbon fibre, but it's got that kind of carbon fibre weave pattern into the leather, which makes them really unique. And again, when I've taken it to shows, it's something that really stands out to people and makes the interior of the RS a really unique place to be. Now, you may be able to hear the whirling of a tractor, which I am sat behind. But in the XKR-S, you're not kind of goaded to be impatient and want to kind of press on all the time. If you are stuck in traffic, okay, this car isn't designed for that. It isn't a city car. Road noise and vibration is very minimal, and it's a very calming place to be until you kind of put it into dynamic mode, put it into sport, and begin to press on, and then the car comes alive, which is a personality trait I think a lot of GT owners are going to want from a car. Yes, it's an incredible visceral experience when you want to tack a B road, but if you have got to do a shop run, if you have got to drop the kids off somewhere, then it's kind of a nice, calm, relaxing experience. Having said that though, when you do drop it down a gear, you get that excitement! The leather and the carbon fibre leather effect and the blue piping and stitching extends to the door cards and also the dash, centre console, centre armrest, etc. We've also got the other bits that I've spoken about on my other reviews, such as the really nice Bose sound system. I know you always get that crowd in the comment section, oh well, the soundtrack comes from the exhaust rather than... Look, sometimes for whatever reason you actually want to have an audio book or some music on if you're on a longer journey. It's just the reality of driving, I'm afraid, folks. We can all do the, oh, it's not a manual, the sound comes from the exhaust, not the CD player. Alright, but the reality of owning any car is sometimes you want to put it into a more comfortable mode for a longer trip. Maybe the weather's bad, whatever, and in that rare circumstance and you want to listen to some music, the Bose sound system is got really kind of clear, high fidelity characteristic to it, which again ties into the overall GT feel. A lovely black leather headlining, obviously the seats are heated, and an overall simplicity of the cabin translates into a really nicely well designed, well thought out interior. So on to number 2. I'd probably say my next choice is the most important one, and is the reason that any owner should own a car, and that is the driving experience. When you're thinking about buying a car, you've got to think about what is it going to be like for you behind the wheel when you're on a B road by yourself, traffic's clear, and you can progress safely and exploit the capability. What is that experience going to be like? I worry that certainly in 2021 people are more worried about, well, what am I going to look like turning up to an event? What am I going to look like turning up to work? What are other people going to think of me? Is it going to be a good car for taking pictures on Instagram? Folks, if you're going to hold on to a car for more than 6 months, your decision has got to be rooted on how you connect with the car and how it's going to be for you behind that wheel. Not what other people are going to think, not about how much attention you're going to get at meets or when you drive past a group of kids. It's got to be rooted in that experience, the handling, the acceleration, everything that ties into that overall driving experience. That's what's going to mean you connect with a car, build a relationship with a car that the voiceover was talking about in the intro. And actually mean that you enjoy the ownership experience and makes it worthwhile. It's not rooted in any financial decision, or what are you going to be able to get the best return on, or etc. Actually, how it feels for you to be blasting down a country lane on a day like I'm driving in today. I said in the 5 things I hate video that I find the accelerator a little bit kind of binary, a little bit 0 or 1, on or off, certainly compared to something like my TVR where you had far more travel and far more modulation. I'd still say that's true. It's been resolved somewhat by the recent addition for the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's that I've put on the back. I think they hook up the power a little bit better. But despite that kind of foible, everything else ties into such an enjoyable driving experience. The sound that comes out the back of the exhausts, the pops and bangs, the handling, the chassis balance. Oh my god, did they refine this. It is a big car, it's a big GT car, but boy have they made it handle well. When you start pushing on, yes, you feel the weight, sorry, there's a tractor that I'm going to have to give way for. Such is the consequence of driving on British roads. But boy, did they make everything tie in nicely. Yes, you do feel the weight of the car moving around a little bit when you're pushing on, but you know exactly what is happening. You're always aware of, you know, in terms of what the back end is doing, how the car is moving about on the roads. And you really can be confident in terms of pushing it when it is safe and appropriate to do so. By the way that Jaguar got this set up, I mentioned in the previous video that they have a base on the Nordschleife industrial circuit for the Nürburgring, and they spent a lot of time dialing this in with the aerodynamics, the uprated suspension with the slightly tweaked damper rates, and boy does it lead to a really enjoyable experience. So I hope that I haven't kind of ruined number 3, which has got to be the noise of the car. Now, with just the GoPro by itself, you're probably not going to be able to hear it that well. The noise is absolutely sensational. Now, I don't think I made this clear in previous videos. This is a stock exhaust. If one thing has popped up in the comments, it's been, my XKR doesn't sound like that. Have you got stock exhaust, etc.? For what I know, obviously previous owners could have tweaked around with things without me knowing. For all I know, this is the stock exhaust for the XKR-S. Obviously, it's already going to have kind of high flow cats and a very kind of unrestricted back box. These have an active exhaust, which, as you probably know, and are sick of being explained this, they've got butterfly valves which open up at the higher RPMs, so you can start the car up and drive it at, you know, maybe below 3000 RPM. It's nice and quiet. It's sometimes called the sort of sociable neighbour mode, and then when you want to press on, the valves open up and you get to hear that roar of the V8. What I've done, and you can do this in lots of other cars, you can do them in the Astons, you can do them in the Mercedes C63s, you can take out a fuse And then that, of course, by default opens them up because they're no longer getting a voltage from the battery. So the default mode for safety is to have them open, because you wouldn't want to have them shut at a high RPM. So they open as a safety feature permanently. So now when you start the car up, and even at low RPMs, you get that growl, you get that throaty exhaust note. So that's one thing that myself and other owners have done. But other than that, this is a totally stock exhaust. V8 with plenty of pops and crackles to complement is absolutely superb. There seems to be a fixation in the car community on exhaust just being loud, but for me it's actually about the depth and the character in that exhaust note and bringing out the qualities and the characteristic of the engine. The third on the list has got to be the performance and the amount of car you get for your money. If you spent the same amount of money on a good example for one of these on your sort of BMW, Mercedes equivalent, you get so much less for your money because you're paying for that badge, I suppose. In terms of the uniqueness, the performance that you get for that sum is absolutely incredible. So then, on to the next thing that I love about the RS. I've already done noise, haven't I? Okay, so next on the list is going to be exterior styling. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. So we've got the carbon fibre rear wing, carbon fibre front splitter. We've got the canards on the front, which kind of just widen the stance of the car significantly. The wheels fill the arches really nicely. The 20-inch Vulcan alloy wheels, which I've had resprayed and changed the colour somewhat, are again a real centrepiece of the exterior styling. The chrome quad exhausts complement the rear carbon fibre diffuser really nicely without kind of being GTR big. And then moving around the car, we've got a few more kind of Jaguar emblems, the bonnet vents, and then some nice subtle kind of slits where the front bumper meets the bonnet, which are unique to the XKR-S. But again, just those kind of, that attention to detail makes the car really unique, but again kind of adds to that aggression. Such a subtle thing can add to that overall feel to the car. And then finally, again unique to the XKR-S, we've got these side skirts which tie everything in for that really nice exterior styling package. Next up on my list of 5, and this is going to be the shortest point, is uniqueness. You see very few of these about. People often don't know what they are, and if they do know and they are big fans of these, they comment that they just don't see many about. So that is the 5 things that I love about the XKR-S, but the list could go on for a lot longer. I've really enjoyed making this video. Hopefully there is a few new cinematography, camera work, editing bits in there for you. I'm always trying to progress the channel in terms of what I can actually get out to you guys in terms of video and audio. So thank you very much for checking out the video. Thank you for everyone's support of the channel to date, and I will catch you for the next video very shortly. Thanks a lot, folks. See you later.